Welcome to Policy and Profit, the podcast for ambitious insurance agents and agency owners who want to build predictable, profitable businesses without chasing bad leads or begging for referrals. And let me just be brutally honest for a second. Most agency owners aren't building a team, they are babysitting one. They spend their days chasing flaky prospects and time vampires, repeating the same pitch to recruit like a parrot 5 times a week, only to have no-shows, ghosters, and broke drainers drain their time and siphon their energy. And worst of all, their personal production suffers, and they start resenting the team they took so long and tried so hard to build. And if that's you, you're not lazy, you're just trying to scale using effort rather than a system, which is why I built the Autopilot Recruiter, a done-for-you system that helps you attract qualified agents, top producers. You pre-sell them with your story, and you get them onboarded through your funnel. All done for you without doing another live Zoom, sales pitch, or three-way call ever again. It's the same system top recruiters that are forcing me to sign NDAs and zipping my mouth shut to grow massive downlines in the hundreds without sacrificing their commissions, their time, or their sanity. If you're ready to build a team that actually grows itself, go to writemorepolicies.com/playbook and download the free playbook today. Today's guest is none other than Benjamin Chris. He's a fourth generation owner of Strong Insurance, a tech forward agency specializing almost exclusively in trucking insurance on a national level. So, Ben, welcome to the show. Tell me something you believe is the key to succeeding in insurance sales that most agents completely overlook.
Right out of the gate, Mason, probably the most important thing you can do is define your ideal client profile. You can't be everything to everybody. You need to find your lane, whether it's a niche or multiple different lanes within your agency, and have that ideal client profile, ICP, avatar, whatever you want to call it, defined and go after it.
I wholeheartedly agree on that. Just because if you try to be everything to everybody, you'll be nothing to yourself. Uh,
Right.
there's a quote out there. Mike Tyson says, "If you're a friend to everyone, you're an enemy to yourself." And I really love that. So I'm glad you're bringing this up because marketing is not taught. Insurance is heavily sales driven outside of the big companies who have, uh, let's just say, fatter wallets and people trying to bootstrap. They had to borrow money like me to get their license. And I didn't have $1 million to go pay a copywriter or a marketer a lot of money to generate leads. So talk to us more about how to define your avatar and why you want to say no to people.
Right. Well, I mean, as far as defining your avatar, a lot of it you have to look at when you're kind of building out your niche or your ideal client profile. The first thing that you need to make sure is that you have the carrier lineup to go after your ideal client profile. Right. It doesn't really do you any good to go out and get somebody on the hook and then you don't have anywhere to go with them when you get them into the agency. Right. So making sure that your carrier lineup matches what you're going to go after, and then making sure that it also reflects, profitability in the agency, right? You need to look at the revenue per account that you're going to be working, or that you think you're going to be working as far as your ideal client profile, and make sure that the revenue aligns with your goals, right? Your ideal client profile it probably shouldn't be your ideal client profile if the revenue doesn't line up. I mean, it's really that simple. And that's what it's always been for us as we look at where can we make money? Where do our carriers line up to allow us to expedite that partnership that we build with that client and that carrier that we're going to take most of that business to with that ICP. So, I mean, it's a process. I think ultimately finding another big piece is finding something that you care to write. Right? If you have to go write something that you hate writing insurance for on a daily basis, that is not your ideal client profile. Write something that you feel that you can get passionate about, that you can, dig yourself into and kind of run with that. That'd be probably first and foremost. If you hate it, don't do it.
Yeah, I think as entrepreneurs, a lot of us have, I don't know, some people call it ADHD, autism. I don't really care much for the labels. I think there's different brain chemistry in people. And you have the what's the Harry Potter world call them? The Muggles who are
Mhm.
like risk averse. They hate entrepreneurship. They love the security of a paycheck. And you know what? More power to you. And I'm actually quite jealous of how simple some of the fact that they can just go enjoy eating fast food. Like I'm honestly jealous a lot of the times. Like that's what you're excited about. The movies on Saturday. That's what you waited all like the club on Sunday. Like you know what? More power to you. I just can't do that. And those people have what's known as importance-based nervous systems. They can do what's important. For me, I like to believe most entrepreneurs operate under this thing called an interest-based nervous system, Ben. We can really only do what we're interested in, or else we're not going to do it long enough to find any type of consistent success with it. So, for those of you out there who maybe think you have ADHD, neurodive, I don't care whatever you call it, pent up energy. Uh, Go look up interest-based versus importance-based nervous systems. There's some really cool research that I think might help a lot of you, like it helped me. And then you'll find ways to do what Ben is talking about. You'll find a line that you actually give a shit about, and you'll actually serve the customers. And holy shit, you actually get people to give you money for it. It's crazy concept, right, Ben? You sell something to someone for a profit, and that makes the world go round in America. So welcome to
Right.
capitalism, my dear friends. You're not hurting someone taking money. I know. Ben, did you ever have your family say, "You better not waste that food"? There's a kid in Africa starving.
Right.
My
Yep.
mom told me
Yep.
that, and I was scared to scrape the broccoli off until she walked away. Then I'd feed it to my boxer. But I know a lot of you think in order for you to win, someone else in another country's got to lose, and I'm telling you that's not true. Okay, it's not true. You can create win-win scenarios for you and your customers. Just because you make money doesn't mean they're losing it. They're going to spend the money on a flat screen TV to impress poor people they don't even care about anyway. So you might as well take their money. It's better off in you and the insurance company's pockets because rich people create jobs for the poor people to go to. It's just how the world works. And so this ties into something I know you're really passionate about. You did a podcast recently about jumping from the main street kind of side of things to making a very exciting switch and a pivot that you now understand from a completely more nuanced and advanced level. So talk to us about that and kind of the riff, not the riff raff, but all the comments you see of people saying, "I'm getting out of commercial, I'm getting out of this." Like, give us the understanding and kind of that story because I think it'll be very valuable to the audience, Ben.
Yeah, sure. So, as you alluded to, I think it's a daily occurrence in many of the Facebook groups we're in, or just the buzz around I hear, especially with the hard market. We're starting to come down a little bit, and hopefully, I don't know if it'll be a real soft landing, but we're starting to come down a little bit. But everyone during the hard market that we've experienced over the last 4 years has said, "I'm getting out of personal lines and I'm going to commercial," or they want to start adding more commercial into their agency, which I don't think is ever a bad idea. I think commercial insurance is a very good place to be if you're going to be in a property casualty space. Um, with that, our agency back in 2023, right at the kind of the mid of the hard market, maybe even a little early in the hard market, made the decision to leave our personal lines book of business. Our main street commercial would have been, your dental offices, your local gym, chiropractic office, a few gas stations, things like that. And then we were heavy agriculture. I mean, it comes with the territory. We're in Western Nebraska, in the middle of nowhere. There's more cows than people. It just comes with the territory. And so we divested from that book of business. We retained our business name that has been, generational, as you alluded to in the beginning of the podcast. Retained all of our staff, and moved 45 minutes down the road and relaunched with a focus on the real estate industry and then the trucking and transportation industry. We really quickly realized that we didn't really want to focus all that much effort on the real estate industry. We frankly got burned a few times early on. And we found more success in the transportation industry. About 4 months in, we made the decision to really focus on that, and that's all we've done since January or June of 2023 is really dug into the transportation industry. With that, we've learned a ton of things. I did that podcast 4 or 5 months into that with James Jenkins. If you want to watch that, Agency Freedom, awesome podcast. But we did that podcast, and I was still relatively new into the transition of really niching. Right, that's the big thing right now. Everyone wants to niche into something, and I highly advise it. But there's some things you have to do before you niche. If you just try to jump into something and say, "I'm going to drop everything else and niche," without doing any research first, you're just gambling. You're not making a wise business decision. So, performing market analysis, that's going to be step one. I mean, really simple. See what's lacking in the marketplace, if anything's lacking, whether you're looking to be regional, national, maintain local presence. For us, we have to go national. I live in a town of 5,000 people. I could sell insurance to everybody in this town and still not be making much money.
Yeah.
So, we had to go with the national approach. So making sure that you understand the market that you're trying to tackle. And then building a business plan and defining your ICP. Once you have that basic understanding of the market you're going to go after, Now you need to figure out who exactly in that market you want to tackle. Who's your ideal client profile? For us, it's realistically 5 to 15 power units in a fleet. Smaller to mid-ish fleets. We really like 5 to 50, but our sweet spot is 5 to 15, and that's just the way it's been. As we continue to grow as an agency in the transportation space, maybe that number bumps up over time. But right now, 5 to 15 is where we see our most success. So making sure you know your ICP and building out your business plan. The third piece to that, especially if you've got a team already, you have to have team buy-in, right? Or you're going to have to replace your whole team. Yeah, you're going to have to make that decision, and that no one wants to have to do that, right? So make sure you have team buy-in. Make sure that your teams, understands what it is you're going to do, understands the benefits that you're trying to provide to them. We had some hesitancy in the beginning, as you can imagine. When you tell, at the time, Amber, for example, she'd only been with me for about a year and a half, and when I told her, hey, I just pulled you out of a job that you enjoyed and brought you on a year and a half ago, and now I'm going to be selling the agency, and we're going to relaunch, and we're going to start from scratch. Yeah, I had some big eyes staring back at me from a few people, and then you look at where she is today. I mean, she's my top producer. She has a book of business that is larger than many agencies. She's a rock star, and she's very happy with the decision we made. So making sure you have that carrier or staff buy-in is huge. The last few steps there, now that you kind of have your primary core pieces, you need to make sure that you have markets for the ICP you're going after and the niche you're niching into. If you don't have them, go get them, and do that before you start. You don't want to be constantly chasing your tails trying to find the
And
best
dig your
market.
well before you're thirsty.
Exactly. So get at least 2, 3 markets that you think can be what we call the cornerstone or the pillars of your agency. Then you can go find all the little nuanced specialty programs for your niche here and there, but go get 3 or 4 carriers that can support you and that you can support and that you feel that you can feed and build a good relationship with. And then lastly, and probably most importantly, be prepared to get all the knowledge you can on your niche. You do not need to be a niche expert in that niche day one. If you feel like you have to be a niche expert day one, you'll never make the jump. You'll spend the next 3 years learning information about the niche and never make the jump. Make the jump when you have all of the other 4 steps done. Then learn as much as you can, but deep knowledge can happen as you're writing the niche. You're going to learn from experience. In my opinion, I'm an experienced learner, hands-on learner. I've learned more from the experience of writing trucking than I have getting my TRIP, going to get my TRS designation. I've already taken a ton of classes. I don't use that stuff on a daily basis. What I use on a daily basis is the clients that I talk to every day and the claims experiences that we see, and some of the pain points that these guys have and how we can solve them. That is what teaches me. But having a path to the knowledge that you want to have to master that niche is huge. So those are kind of like my 5 points. If you're going to start, if you're going to go down the path of jumping into a niche, and then of course the last little bit here is if you're going to actually divest, make sure that you do so in a smart way. Hire someone to evaluate your book and divest from it. Don't just sell it because you're all excited. It took us, I think we started conversations November of 2022. We sold June of 2023. So it took us 8-9 months to have that, full evaluation done and things like that. Don't just say, oh, trucking has high premium, I'm going to go write that. You will fall on your face and make sure that you like what you're going after. So those 5 things are 5 keys, in my opinion, to transitioning to a niche.
Those are really good, and you hit on a lot of stuff in the marketing world, which is funnily enough never taught. The fact that the names Robert Collier, Claude Hopkins, uh, Gary Halbert, Dan Kennedy, Eugene Schwartz, the fact that those names, those people, their programs, their trainings are not discussed on a daily basis in the insurance industry, it disgusts me. It makes me sick to my stomach. It makes me repulsed because it sets so many agents up for failure to only treat themselves as salespeople and go out there and have price-based conversations. And the fact that you're bringing this up, it makes me really proud to associate with people like you. So, uh, for those of you who want to extrapolate the main lesson of this, Because what he's talking about, we get in this information overload, or we think we're in a deficit, whatever Dunning-Kruger effect, and we overcomplicate things. Go pick who you want to say. I will start with the who. That should be every first step. I will start with the who, not the what, the who. You go pick a
Mhm.
market. You say, what limitations do they have? What problem can I solve? And then you learn how to communicate. You say, how does this product remove the limitations for that customer? And that's all you have to communicate. And if you do that effectively, you turn essentially your lemonade stand. Because right now, a lot of you are out there saying, I have yellow water with sugar in it. And the customer says, wow, that sounds like pee, Ben. Rather than your competitors who saying, I have golden brown refreshing lemonade. People are like, oh, I'd much, Ben, do you want golden refreshing lemonade or yellow water with sugar in it? Which one are you buying?
Right. Yeah. Yellow refreshing lemonade.
Yeah, no one buys the best product. People buy the best sounding product, guys. So Ben just dropped some knowledge bombs on you. So go do something with it. Ben, this has been really valuable for the agents and agency owners listening who want to learn more about what you do. Tell us who's a good fit to work with you and how they can get in touch.
I mean, there is no working with me, but for fees or anything like that, I don't do any consulting. But what you can do is you can get a hold of me anytime you want. I love sharing as much information I can with other insurance agents, and I hope that they share some of their knowledge with me, right? I like to be a sponge. You can squeeze me, but I'm going to soak something back up from you. So get a hold of me. You can go to my website. I have a Calendly link on there. There's a one-on-one link to get 30 minutes with me anytime you want to. Doesn't matter if you're planning on going into a niche, you're already in a niche and you're trying to hone your skills. We're doing the same thing. Iron sharpens iron. Get a hold of me. Let's sharpen each other.
We're going to wrap up here. You guys go comment down below after you subscribe. Seriously, it takes 2 seconds. If you're not willing to subscribe, it says a lot about you as a human. There's just really no hope for you, if I'm being real. So you guys go comment down below. Say thank you to Benjamin Chris for sharing his insights on kind of that journey from switching from Main Street stuff to jumping into a specialty, picking your niche, defining your ICP and all of this. You guys, for those of you interested in learning more and getting around people who, guys, I'll just tell you, when I first joined the industry, you didn't have the option to just go book on someone's calendar and ask them questions in 2020. Uh, and a lot of you get your information from really shitty sources like TikTok people who say they made $1 million when all they did was submit $1 million. Big difference. Big difference in submit and what actually goes into a bank account. How do I know? I've actually put two commas into a bank. It's not what was submitted. So if you would like to be a guest on Policy and Profit, first of all, you guys go. I'm going to post all of Ben's links down below in the description, in the pinned comments. Go reach out to him, okay? He's a resource, he's your friend, and you never know what business can be drummed up from that. So if you'd like to be a guest on Policy and Profit, we're always looking for successful agents and agency owners doing at least 10K a month in commissions and have a unique strategy or story to share. You can apply at the link below in the description or refer someone. We love referrals, just like you probably do. So one more time, if you want to stop getting the wrong people on your team that never sell anything and drain your time, and you want to recruit the right people the first time on autopilot and fill your agency with rock stars, go to writemorepolicies.com/playbook. Until next time, keep building that commission machine, my friend.
All
Ben, you
right.
crushed it,
Awesome.
dude. That was badass, man.
Yeah. Awesome, man. I appreciate it.